Today is Saturday, February 15th, 2020. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for week 1 of Winners at War.
We put the call out after we did the recap show there at the very end. Said, come on and join us. We're looking forward to another season of great listener feedback shows. And the superfans responded, huh?
Yes, it is. 34 of them.
34. All right.
Woo-hoo.
Let's kick it off with 34.
I can't compete with Pete.
Yeah, nor should you. First up, we got a call from Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling. All I gotta say is, wow. Wow, wow, wow. I gotta let out a great big whoa! Wow. It was insane, guys. I don't know where to begin. So much strategizing. Everyone's panicking. The game is definitely up-tempo and fast now. And one thing Probst is right about is the game has evolved, for sure. And I kind of felt bad for Amber because Amber hasn't played since All-Stars when there was no idols, advantages, voting box. So it was really new for her. I wish she could have found an idol, though. That would have been so epic, and I know Rob would have been proud of her, too. It just wasn't meant to be. And she was voted out, as much as it was her association with Rob, but also it was because of this poker alliance. I didn't realize Tyson, Rob, Kim, and Jeremy, and of course Amber all were together in some poker tournament. That was crazy. But Yule really stood out for me. Nick and Wendell did, and grouchy Sophie. I feel bad for Kim. I think Kim's going to work her way out of her mess. And, of course, poor Denise is on the bottom again on the other team. I was worried for her and Adam there. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, they're going to get rid of Adam over Natalie or Jeremy or Robert Poverty. But I'm sad it was Natalie, though, because Natalie had so much potential. She's a challenge beast. She's a great social player, a strategist. And now she joins her sister, Nadia, as the first one voted out in this champion season. But I think she's going to work her way back. It's Jeremy's turn to return the favor. You see the look on his face, Joanne and Stacy. She gave him the token. That's what started it. And he won that big challenge, the second immunity challenge. Rob pulling him off on that roller there, and then that toss at the end. Kudos to Jeremy. But I still think, I don't know, looks like Sandra may be in trouble. Worried for Tony. Really, all of them. I think Rob and Poverty are in trouble. I love that they're working together, though, Rob and Poverty. That's a dream team alliance. But how long will it last? And, looks like Ben, Denise, Adam, they all see it. Danny, I think we said this in the pregame, she's kind of working in the middle, it seems like. Almost like Yule is on the other team. So we'll see how it goes, guys. It's anyone's game, guys. I mean, the twists make you crazy. I know no one likes Extinction. I wish it would go until at least the merge, but I do like at least they're adding more, though, with this token thing and finding advantages. They're not just hanging out on an island. So we'll see. It does add a new dynamic with these tokens, and I think it's going to turn into a great season, guys. They're casting for season 41, by the way. Love this show. Great premiere, guys. Take care. Woo!
Whoa. All right.
Yeah, I
Thanks,
think the
Pete.
tokens really amped up the paranoia.
The tokens amped up the paranoia.
Yeah, not knowing exactly how it's all going to work. And
Okay. Cool. Thanks, Pete. Great to hear you there. Next up, we got a call from Christiana.
Hi, Joanne and Stacey. This is Christiana from Boston, calling with my Winners at War Week 1 feedback. All in all, I thought it was such an awesome episode. I was so excited about it. These tribes are so stacked and evenly matched. Maybe not totally evenly matched physically, but strategically. I just love seeing everything that's going on. I was definitely shocked and bummed to see Natalie go. I think, in retrospect, her and Jeremy really had a disadvantage being placed on the same tribe. Unlike Rob and Amber, who made a choice to come on the show together and of course wouldn't be on the same tribe, Natalie and Jeremy didn't choose to be on the same tribe, and I feel like they probably were surprised when they were, and that puts a huge target on their back from the get-go. So Jeremy was my USB. I didn't want to see him go, but I didn't want to see Nat go either. I think she's awesome, but she did, so now she's hanging out on the edge of extinction until she has a chance to play back in, which she's a really strong challenge athlete. She could get back in, but it'll be a while. On the other tribe, I agree with you, Stacey, that Amber was the right choice to get rid of her. Even though I would have loved to see her play more, it was so obvious. Between her or Sandra, I'm like, hello, what are you guys doing? Which brings me back to the blue tribe, and I agree with you also. I couldn't believe that they weren't going after Rob, and that I thought Danny played that really well and kind of brought him in, and that Rob said that showed me that I can trust her, because if she was saying no, I knew she was lying, and so she owned it. And I really enjoy that old school alliance with Rob, Parvati, Danny, and Ethan. And so even though I do think Rob should go sooner rather than later, I'm kind of intrigued to see how far that group can go, especially the Rob and Parvati combo. Just like, what a powerhouse. In terms of players that I think didn't do well, first and foremost, Ben, yeah, he totally got wrapped up in Rob's spell, and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm thinking he doesn't get too far. Doesn't seem like Adam's gonna get too far. Hopefully Janice goes far. I love her too, but we'll see. She kind of is starting from the bottom. So I think for my vote out pick next week, I would probably be between Adam or Rob, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't seem like Rob's going anywhere, which is actually crazy that these players would let that happen. But we'll see. But I'm looking forward to hearing what everyone else has to say and to keep going on with this season, because I think it's just going to be so, so good. So have a great week, everyone.
All right. Thanks, Christiana. Yeah, the Rob's future is somewhat dependent on Amber now. If she can deliver something to him to help, just like Natalie delivered to Sandra, then you could see their life in the game get sort of a guaranteed extension, or semi-guaranteed. They have to know to take advantage of it at the time.
Yeah, once people kind of figure out if and when they figure out, now probably Sandra has an idea, but she doesn't even know for sure that Natalie sent it. But if people realize that Amber can send advantages to Rob, then they need to put them both on the island.
I think the reason the first advantage was, I'm going to say, relatively easy. She had to do that somewhat arduous hike, right, to get to it. But then it was just there. She got to the right location, it was there. I don't expect that to be the case necessarily going forward.
No, because there's going to be more than one person.
Now that Amber's there, yes. And so I don't expect both Natalie and Amber to have an opportunity to send something in. Could be wrong about that. That's part of what we hopefully you'll find out in the second episode as we learn more about the mechanics of how this is going to work. But if there's just one, then it makes it a race between the folks on edge to get it.
Maybe it keeps them from getting too friendly.
Possibly.
They're competing.
Oh, yeah.
To get back in the game.
Absolutely. Good deal. Thanks again, Christiana. Next up, we got an email from Nathan in Portsmouth, Virginia. Hello, Joanne, Stacey, and Survivor fans. I'm thrilled that Survivor's back, and it seems that we're going to have a great season. It really does have a Super Bowl feel for Survivor fans. Where do we even start in this first hyperspeed episode? I guess I'll share a few things I found the most interesting. Will Rob and Parvati stay in an alliance for a while, or will they both be so anxious to get each other before the other can get them that it will break up before too long? I suppose a lot will depend on who wins the challenges and what happens with the first tribe swap. If I had to guess, I'd think Parvati would turn first, but Rob still seems to have some magic in him, at least over several of the players. Poor Ben. I was surprised that no one seemed to even mention Sandra. I suppose everyone thinks they can get her at a later time, and there may be some truth to that. We know that she's not a huge threat in challenges, but if we're comparing this to the Super Bowl, everyone knows better to let a good team than to let a good team hang around too long. They always end up coming back at the end. Just look at this year's Super Bowl. I'm not a fan of the edge of extinction, but I understand the desire and perhaps need for it in this winter season, so I will tolerate it for now. By the way, I did hear somewhere that Probe said there would be no EOE on season 41. Woo, thanks. I don't know what to think of the fire tokens yet. I'm worried it will add too many idols into the game without anyone in the tribes even having to sneak away to look for them. It could certainly be an advantage for Rob if Amber can get some things to him. Speaking of fire tokens, it seems that you can get more fire tokens the longer you are on the edge. So wouldn't this mean in theory that the person voted out first will have the best chance to buy advantages and therefore the best chance to get back in the game? They will have had more opportunities, but that doesn't mean that they necessarily always find the thing to sell them for, right? I need some help in deciding my favorite line for episode 1. It's either Rob asking, "Are we being punked?"
I thought that was Parvati.
Okay, either way.
Yeah,
Are we being punked? Or Sandra yelling, "Tony, pay attention."
I don't
What's
know.
your
I
vote?
like them both.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm going to go with Tony, pay attention.
Yeah.
That kind of needling thing from her, I think, will pay dividends in the long
Who
run.
would do that other than Sandra?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Joanne and Stacy, for this podcast. I have a lot going on right now, and both my jobs are much more stressful than normal. I'm so grateful for my survivor breaks, which include watching the episode and listening to the podcast. Talk to everyone next week. All right, thank you, Nathan, and I'm glad we can provide some respite from what's going on there for you. Good stuff. Next up, we got a call from Jade-n-Christine. I really like this one.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Jade
And Christine
from Hawaii.
from Hawaii, yes.
And long time, first time.
Yeah, first time callers. We love your show, and it's made watching Survivor just so exciting. We're really happy to be watching this in real time. Normally, we watch it over streaming because we've only been watching for the past few years, but it's fantastic watching it in real time. The only problem is now we have to wait a whole week.
Yeah, it's too long.
Yes, much too long. One of the reasons why we wanted to call was to talk to Stacy about Yule. And he just seemed to think that this gesture that Yule made of leaning
forward.
Yeah, with Kim, that he was so awkward and it was weird. But really, being from Hawaii, we see a lot of these Asian men of a certain age, Jade's dad included.
Yes. It's a normal thing when you lean forward. It's kind of a sign of respect, and it's almost like an older brother kind of way of showing that you're listening to someone.
Yeah.
Almost like a bow in front of someone. So it's a really common thing for Asian men to do.
Yeah, so his gestures were meant to reassure Kim, but it's not that she would take it that way.
Yeah, she might not know.
She might think that she might not understand it anyway, so. And then we also want to talk to you about Boston Rob and his magic.
Yep.
Poor Ben was just blasted by the Boston Rob magic, and we know about this. That is,
Yeah, from Amazing Race. So his season where he and Amber went to the finals, you just notice how people want to do things for him all the time. Like he'll ask people for favors and they'll just be like, sure. And there's something that he has that makes people want to do things for him. And I think that's what happened to Ben.
Yeah.
So we feel bad for Ben.
yeah, poor Ben. And we both think that Boston Rob is going to go further. I mean,
Yeah.
already he was safe this week, which I got a safe point for him. Yay.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and it's so impressive how he makes it happen for his team. And he'll just do something to problem solve in the moment that makes it really exciting.
Yeah, I'm a big Boston Rob fan. I don't think he's going to win, but I think he's going to go pretty far. And then finally, we think Natalie might be the one to come back.
Yes. From the edge of extinction, she is scrappy, and before she didn't have that focus, but now she's really angry and she's out for blood. So we just expect her to be the one to come back from edge of extinction.
Thanks, you guys.
Bye. Aloha.
I like that. I like the cultural explanation.
Excellent.
And just
Excellent
like their read on it, I would have read it as being overly dramatic and dismissive by doing it. But having it certainly frames it in a completely different light. So I really appreciate that.
And we all know how Natalie is fueled by anger. So
Revenge, yeah.
yep, anger and revenge. That's what got her to the end last time. So this might work again.
Good bet for sure.
Good point. Thanks, Jade. Thanks, Christine.
Next up, we got a call from Nicola-n-Jackson.
Hi, it's Nicola and
Jackson!
And we are fresh off of I watched for the second time this evening. I was lucky enough to go to a watch party in little old Lexington, Kentucky. Nick was there, Elaine was there, Davey was there, and there was some Big Brother people who I had no clue who they were. But anyway, I went with Eliza and 3 other friends of mine. We had a great time. It was a lot of fun. We got to meet them all and have our pictures taken and stuff. Anyway, that was great. I didn't tell Jackson about it because it was past his bedtime and I knew he would be mad he didn't get to go. And he didn't believe me until I showed him the photos.
So I love the challenge, like where they had to toss the rings and undo the passcode and climb up that big ramp. When can I do that? I really want to do that. It looks so fun. I wanted to set up my own obstacle course and see if I can make some of that stuff. Wow. I don't know who's going to help me do it, but I hope one of you do.
Well, maybe. Maybe we'll build an obstacle course this summer.
Yay.
That'd be fun.
And then I get to practice. Then when I'm on Survivor, when I'm a grown-up, then I'll win every time.
So you like both the challenges? Were pretty cool.
Yeah. I really liked the first one. Then I liked the second one. What was the second one?
The second one was where they had to go in the boat out and get the
codes.
Yeah, got the passcodes.
What
and then they had to come back and jump off the thing and swim and get over that rolling log. That was pretty tough. Boston Rob was pretty amazing on that. It was incredible. He was just like throwing people all the way over there. It was a great first episode. I can't wait for the rest of the season.
It's really cool. I liked it.
Who was your favorite player this evening?
I think it was Rob.
Rob? You liked Rob? He did a good job. I thought Sandra did a great job. They all did a great job.
Yeah.
It's crazy, really, that it's so hard to pick somebody to root for because we want them all to win. The only thing I did notice, I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but Ben, when he went to vote, the first time, picked up the candlestick that was on the parchment and looked underneath it. I guess he was looking for a clue or something anyway. I thought that was kind of cool. Well, talk to you next week. Thanks for all you do, Joanna Stacy.
Bye, Joanna and Stacy. I hope I see you next season. Booyah! Go Survivor teams.
And bye, Survivor friends.
All right.
Good stuff. I like that. Rob did a good job. That's a great eye. Good attention to detail there, Nicola, with Ben picking up the candlestick. I want to take this opportunity.
I think I missed that.
Yeah, I want to take this opportunity to mention another amazing Dalton Ross article at the beginning of the season where he gives lots of extra details. A lot of stuff about that first challenge, and what Nicola triggered for me there by saying that was he mentioned he goes into how long each tribal council took, which they were both surprisingly short, and what everyone said when they voted, as well as he mentioned several things just like what Nicola picked up on that she saw, things we didn't get to see, other people checking around in the voting booth since it's more private like you were talking about. And so they were looking for clues and hints and idols and stuff when they went to vote. It wasn't just Ben. Other people did that too. Boston Rob was checking things. It said, it's just we're all hungry for extra and more and can't wait for Wednesday. Well, this article gives you even more background about what was going on and all kinds of stuff. It was just really well done. Even the Probst Q&A had some extra stuff in it this week.
All right, Dalton.
Yeah.
Oh, you said he had a video too.
There's video of him interviewing Probst right after the second tribal council, which is part of it's included in the link that has the other questions, the Q&A, that weekly Q&A that he does. So there's the weekly written Q&A, and there's a video. And
there's a video of tribal council down to where they give their tokens.
Oh, there was an extra video that showed the walk that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What did Natalie and Amber see as they left tribal council down to where the token table was? Yeah. Good stuff. Good job, Nicola. Good job, Jackson. I hope you get that obstacle course. Next up, we got an email from Barbara in Long Island.
Hi, guys. First impressions. Cowboy Ben sure is trees. Maybe he'll stumble into a nest of fire coins. Tony reminds me of a rodeo bull just twitching to get out of the gate.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah. Poor Kim is seeing what it's like to play with people who aren't idiots.
I like that.
When the Red Tribe learned that Natalie had been voted out, Sandra reacted hard. And later, Natalie gave Sandra an immunity idol for 1 fire coin. Do you think they had a pregame alliance? I don't think Sandra's mad at Rob at all. I think they both decided to stage some sort of fake war in order to get the heat off them for having spent 36 days together in Island of the Idols. And Amber, a self-described mom on vacation, well, now she'll be vacationing on edge of extinction. She'll probably do better there than in the game, finding advantages for Boston Rob. By the way, Joanna Stacy, I listened to Rob Sesternino's 10-year anniversary podcast, and he was very complimentary to both of you. He talked about how you helped him when he first started and how you guys are still doing great podcasts, which you are.
And which Barbara's a part of.
Yes, and thank you, Barbara.
Yep.
And we love Rob. He's always very generous. Up next, we have a call from Shay.
Hey guys, it's Shay. What an awesome opening show. I'm not surprised Amber's gone, but somebody really needs to get rid of her husband. Rob is so good. I mean, like, Ben just spilled the beans. He's so starstruck. But Rob is so good. Danny was talking about voting him out. He hears this. He walks up to her. And it's like, I heard you said my name, and I just need you to be honest. And her being caught off guard was honest. And then he totally switched it up on her. And was like, okay, since you've told the truth, I feel like I can trust you, so now I can work with you. And she's like, okay, great. And she literally went from wanting to vote him out to feeling privileged he's willing to work with her in a matter of minutes. He completely flipped the script, and nobody saw him turn that page. It's crazy how he does it. I mean, it's amazing. I love watching it. I mean, he can win. I don't care. I'd be happy to see almost anybody win in this season. I mean, truly. But, man, if you don't want Rob to win, you better get him out of there. It was hilarious. I can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say. And, man, this is going to be a great season, guys. I'm so excited. Okay, well, I will talk to you next time. Bye.
I think the other thing that showed us was how quick on her feet Danny was in terms of her thinking, because she had talked about not having connections. She had tried to make a connection with Ben. Now she's confronted immediately with the fact that he's betrayed her, and that there's no connection for her there. So she tells Rob she didn't have connections and ends up with a connection. So I think that was equally to her credit there in terms of how that term, she needed that.
Well,
and her first attempt had failed, and she was so fast on it.
Yeah,
Instead of being angry or anything, she just pivoted and went with it.
Well, if she was angry, she didn't show it.
Yeah.
So that's good, too.
Yeah.
And she went with it, like you said, and all of a sudden there's an alliance of 4.
Better than a broken one that you were trying to cultivate.
And I think they have Ben in there, too, which is really all they need right now after the vote.
Mm-hmm.
But, or I kind of would think that Denise and Adam would kind of go wherever they felt they had the best deal.
Well, they were already on the right side of the vote, so.
Yep.
Seems like that got dialed in, at least at that point.
Yeah, but you know how they do the voting blocks.
Thanks, Shay. Good to hear from you. Next up, we got a call from Rodney.
Hey, Joanna and Stacy and Survivor fans everywhere. It's Rodney from Illinois. Like always, I get to leave some feedback at the beginning of the season, but school will probably take me away from the rest of the season. Last season left a bitter taste in my mouth, and I thought that my Survivor fandom was deflated. But after the first episode of this season, I am so pumped up. I love seeing all the old winners come back. I'm starting my last semester of my nurse practitioner program, and I just realized this morning that I will have an episode of Survivor for every week that I have to complete my last semester. So that makes me super happy. It'll help carry me through. Some of the Survivor castmates this season that I thought did an excellent job. I thought Adam did a good job of getting the target off of himself. I think Ben helped with that, though I do think that, his talk to Rob was not how he initially meant to accomplish that feat. I love seeing Yule. Yule's such a smart guy. He picked up right where he left off from his season, so I don't think that it'll carry him to the end. It was good to see at least one tribe know to target the biggest alliance of pre-existing relationships where my wife was looking at me the whole episode at the beginning asking me, why aren't they targeting Rob? Why are they afraid of Rob? Are you kidding me? They're not targeting Rob? You know, my wife is more of a casual fan, and even she can see that Rob needs to go. So I can't believe they didn't target Rob on the first go-around. The other thing that I thought was funny is, you know, listening to podcasts and watching some feedback for the first week, everybody was giving Tony credit for controlling himself. He barely controlled himself. That pot was still bubbling over. You could see, see, I'm not going anywhere. I can't go anywhere. I'm on a leash. I'm on house arrest. Every chance he got. It's almost as bad as going and looking for the idol itself. He's just calling attention to himself. I don't see that Tony's going to last long, but who knows. So I do have a question this week. I want to know who, if voted off, would have the biggest effect for you watching the season or make you the saddest to see them go. For me, I think it's Ethan. Ethan is such a good player. He's such a good person, and it seems like he's truly enjoying being out there. So I do think that if Ethan got voted off, or when Ethan gets voted off, it'll probably make me a little sad more than anybody else. Thanks for all that you guys do, and have a good week.
Thanks, Rodney.
Well, because there's edge of extinction, I can't work up too much.
Yeah, it's not like they're gone. So
yeah, they're not totally gone.
Yeah.
So
I want to
they have
say
a
I was going to
chance.
wait till the end to say this, but I can't remember if he did this the last time, but I love what Paul did with the roster. I love the recycle symbols on there. He probably did the same thing last time, and I just don't remember. But I love that Recycle Island thing, and because of Recycle Island, they're not really gone. So
And I kind of like the purple.
I totally get the reference to Ethan though, because you can really see he's the sentimental favorite. And there's a great extra video with Ethan this week too, where he's showing him how to eat the rice.
Oh,
I'll say it that way.
No.
That was really good. Yeah,
that
no, that's
got
good.
me.
That was funny. You could tell Ethan's having a good time.
Kind of made my stomach go a little.
You get a little flip there.
Yeah.
No, it's a great tip that all the survivors should learn, courtesy of old school Ethan. Is there anyone else
Leave
that
it
you
where
would
it
be really disappointed if they're out? Let's just say in week 2. Are you gonna
I
have?
just said I can't get too into it because they're just going out to the.
Well, obviously for me, I'd be really disappointed to see Denise go. I still hold hope for her ability in the game. I'd
Well,
flip it
yeah,
around.
but she could still
Who is
come back.
least concerning? I think that's another way to look at it. Just flip Rodney's question around. You're like, meh, whatever. Michelle. So I've got that for
less.
Adam and Nick. I think both of them are kind of meh. And Kim is headed down that trail now after such a pitiful showing. I expected more.
Okay.
But that's so empty in terms of what she offered the game.
I think Rodney's right. I think Tony could be in trouble because what would have made me angry about Tony standing around there running his mouth about not being able to go. Look at me. I can't go anywhere. I can't. I thought you could help us or at least get out of our way while we're trying to build a shelter, and you're not doing anything.
Well, that's just for those few seconds where he was shown
Well,
doing that.
But a lot of different times were shown, and Tony was still doing nothing
Okay. I'm sure there's a lot of
but
time
just
when
talking,
people are doing nothing but
and
talking.
that he was in the way.
Gotcha.
So
Sure.
I was like,
You read that as
Why
he's
are
doing
you
that
doing
all
that?
the time. I got it.
well, yeah, I did, because that's what they showed me. That's what they wanted me to think,
Yeah.
and I
okay.
obliged.
Yeah. Good deal.
I guess I'm simple-minded that way, and I'm okay with that.
That's how it works. See cow, say cow. Yep. That's part of the formula, especially for reality TV. We make those conclusions all the time. Thanks again, Rodney. Good job. Glad to hear from you. Hope school goes great, and I hope you can dip in every once in a while. We always look forward to hearing from you. Next up, we got an email from Mike in Omaha. What a way to kick off an all-winter season. I don't want to be overeager, but I do believe this is going to net us a solidly good, if not superb, season of Survivor. I love the contrast in that sentence. Every person out there knows what they're doing, so how can it not be good? I'm with you on that. Well, I suppose the answer may lie in edge of extinction. On the positive side, I don't feel the winner's going to have a Chris Underwood-style win, so while EOE is highly annoying, it does benefit us as viewers because we get to see our favorites for longer. This brings me to poor Natalie. She's one of my top 5 favorite winners of this game. I loved her the first time I saw her on Amazing Race when she and her sister wound up in 4th place, and I adored her run on San Juan del Sur. I selected her as my vote out just because I know Natalie can have a big mouth and has strong opinions. As it turns out, she got voted out because of her relationship with another of my favorites, Jeremy. Tyson, Parvati, Sandra, Sarah, and Denise all reminded me just how good they are. Tyson knew to immediately throw that alliance under the bus. Parvati's just an amazing player. Sandra's up to her old tricks, and along with that, not getting caught, that is amazing. Sarah is reminding me why she was my winner pick in Kaigion so many years ago. The girl's good. And Denise deflects blame, yet accepts responsibility in the same breath better than anyone I've ever seen play the game. Of course she does. You don't survive every tribal council without that ability. I wound up selecting her as my USB mainly because she may be my favorite of all, and since I didn't know how to gauge who might win, why not cheer for a USB you love? Exactly. I do think Denise can recover from her early slip-up. Again, history shows us that she can play from behind and the bottom. I feel sorry for Amber, but this is the result I suspected when seeing the cast. I assumed Rob probably wouldn't go first because of his challenge or camp life assets, and it'll be Amber who winds up paying the price for him being out there. It stings too because I had Amber safe, trying to go bold in JSFL.
Me too.
Really great to see everyone play this game. I had forgotten how much it's impossible to hate Adam and Tyson, and I was reminded that though he's an extremely likable guy, Ethan has never been my cup of tea as a player. He gets all my sympathies and congratulations for being well and being out there, but I've never truly cheered for him, and that hasn't changed as of yet. I feel the fire tokens may actually bring a new and exciting element to this game. Unfortunately, does that mean we'll only see fire tokens on seasons with Edge of Extinction? We haven't seen a different iteration of them, but I would like to see them used in a non-Edge format. I think this season will be a slam dunk in spite of the added weight of too many twists. So excited for the next episode. Thank you, Joanna and Stacy. Happy I get to finally share a USB with you guys. All right. Thanks, Mike. Good job, buddy. Next up, we got a call from Krystle.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Krystle. I am so excited that this season of Survivor has finally started. I feel like I was counting down the days for so long, and it's finally here. And it definitely delivered and went above and beyond all of my expectations, and it's only episode 1, so I'm really excited to see what this season has in store. I love all of the players and watching them interact with each other. I felt so starstruck just by watching it. Just a few thoughts about this first episode. I totally agree that I also was disappointed by Ben. He was one of my favorites. I just love the way that he won his season. Although I don't see him winning again, I was rooting for him because I really did enjoy how he played the game the last time. But I felt like the reason why he won last time was because he was able to keep a secret, where it felt like in this episode, he took the opposite approach and just decided to out everyone. I'm not sure that that's going to be an effective strategy if he continues that, so I do hope that he settles down. I really enjoyed watching the way that Yul played. It seemed like every time someone was having a strategy conversation, Yul was there and was a part of it, and it seems like a lot of people really want to bring him in. He's very trustworthy and smart, and I think that he will go far. At least I hope so, because I chose him as my USB. But other than that, I do think that he's playing a great game. And yeah, it was amazing to see Natalie go and then Amber go, and I can't wait to see how Rob reacts at that first sight when he sees that she was voted out. So very excited for the next episode and this whole season, and it's just great to be back and to hear your voices again, and I can't wait to hear what everyone else has to say. Until next time, bye.
All right. Thanks, Krystle. Next up, we got a call from Cameron.
Hey, Joanna, Stacy, and Survivor fans. This is Cameron from North Carolina. What a great first episode. We are in for a season, folks. Starts out with a pretty classic Survivor challenge. DeCall clearly has the dominant team when it comes to strength. Right from the get-go, Adam is coming off to me as such a beta. I wasn't too impressed by the strength of his game in Millennials versus Gen X, and if he plays that again, I'd say he has the lowest shot at winning. He is way too whiny. Maybe I was wrong about Tony in my On the Grill. He clearly knows what he did wrong in Game Changers and how to play better this time, but I don't know, he still isn't screaming potential winner to me. Yule's already exceeded my expectations in how smart he is. I consider myself a diehard Survivor fan, and even I didn't know about that poker night between Boston Rob and friends. Be careful though, Yule. Don't let Sophie play with you like your coach, just to be stomped on in the final tribal council. That San Juan del Sur target was kind of random in my opinion. It doesn't seem to me Natalie and Jeremy have all that much chemistry from then. Man, poor Natalie though, she was not at all one I foresaw being the first boot. I guess now her and Nadia both have that title. Don't get me wrong, I love Ben Driebergen, and I rooted for him all the way, through thick and thin, to beat Chrissy Hoffbeck. But Ben, I am not at all impressed with you. I mean, you just let Rob squeeze through that tribal scot-free. And it wasn't even until after the matter when he talked to Michelle. Hey, maybe there's something going on with that Boston Rob there. Edge of Extinction is just plain miserable to watch to me, and all signs are pointing to Natalie Anderson being this season's Reem Daily. I never thought I'd actually be wishing we had Redemption Island again, but here I am. I'm a little surprised Sandra and Amber aren't on the same terms this time around. It seems to me she would prefer to have Rob and Amber around for the long run as shields. And I can't say I'm too upset to see Amber go. She's one of the weakest winners there in my opinion, and of course, this means Boston Rob's chances of $2 million coming to the Mariano house are that much slimmer now. Next time on Survivor, looks like Rob caught wind of what Sandra did, and it indeed looks like the Island of the Idols buddies will not be a dynamic duo this time around. Pretty great start. Didn't lose any week 1 safe picks in JSFL, and you know what? Gonzalez gave me trouble. Jeremy gave me trouble pretty early on in Davey versus Goliath, so we'll see how it goes this time around. Side challenge is motivating me that much more. But I guess that's all. So Joanna, Stacy, and Survivor fans, I will see you all next week. I'm glad to hear some great feedback.
All right. Thanks, Cameron. Next up, we got an email from Dave in Ohio.
I was very impressed with this episode. The players were playing the game as soon as they were on the boat. Did you watch where Boston Rob took off his sandals before getting into the water and carried them up the beach? I'm assuming to keep them dry in case they were needed. He was already playing the game on the boat.
I missed that.
If I was not part of the poker group, I would be concerned as a player too. Personally, I think it should have been Boston Rob or Tyson falling on that sword. I was on the edge of my seat the whole 2 hours. Ethan said it best when referring to the game moving fast compared to when he played. It was non-stop action the whole night. The producers and editors did a great job. I've never been a fan of Tyson, and this episode reminded me why. What was up with Ben? He said he was starstruck talking to Boston Rob. Ben, you're a star too. I didn't think Ben would get to the end, but I expected more than this. Hopefully he redeems himself next week. You'll earn some points with Tyson over the challenge they did together. Yule is seriously struggling with the social game. He needs to make some changes quickly. I had Yule as my USB and changed it Monday to Wendell. I'm so glad I did that.
I bet.
I had Sandra for my vote out. With the previews of Boston Rob, it looks like the king and queen are gunning for each other. Will this be something that lasts the whole season or one episode? I have no idea, but I'm going to watch and find out. Since first hearing of the tokens, I was not a fan, but after learning the significance of the tokens and how they are played, I'm now a fan, especially with it being all returning winners. If this was all new players with this twist, then I think I would not have been a fan. These winners will recognize the true power of the coins and give us some great tribal councils to watch from it. Final thought. I was shocked 2 women went home. I thought there might be a big all-girls alliance this year. Not starting out that way for sure. Maybe after the merge it will happen. That's all I have, folks. All right. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, good job. Next up, we got a call from Kaleb.
Hi, this is Caleb from Texas, and I'm just calling in for my feedback. I usually send in emails, but this time I decided to send in my voice. So, hello, everyone. Thank you guys for doing this awesome podcast. I just wanted to talk a little bit about this episode. This premiere was really good, in my opinion. I was really surprised that Natalie got voted out because I had her to go to 8th place. So, it was kind of interesting to see her get first boot here because I was not expecting that at all. And most of us probably were not. In the preseason videos, no one said that they wanted her to be voted out first. Amber getting voted out, it's not surprising, but it's just kind of lame that 2 women get voted out first, and I was really expecting Rob to go home first, so that was very exciting too. That scene with him and Ben, that was hilarious. Just a bunch of stuff was crazy. I liked the throwback challenge at the beginning, that was really cool. We haven't had one of those in a while, I feel like, just like a wrestling one. That was really cool. Just, I felt like the alliance between Sophie and Yul was awesome as well. I feel like that's going to be one of the power alliances in this season. And Rob and Parvati, I don't know how long this is going to last, because recently alliances haven't been lasting a while, just voting blocks. I don't know if the old school players are going to bring back alliances or not, but we'll see what happens. Alright, so that's about all I have for this information. I only got 4 points for my JSFL this week, but that's okay. I'll hopefully get more. Well, that's all I got. See you guys later. Bye.
All right.
Don't rub it in, Caleb. That's more than I got.
Good job, Kayla. Did a great job on your audio there. We look forward to hearing more. Next up, we got a call from Mary.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. It's Mary from Michigan. I am super excited about this season. I've been totally hyped up. I thought the first 2 episodes were fantastic. I was bummed to see Natalie go because I almost picked her as my USB, but I didn't, thank goodness. Hoping she's got a shot with getting back in, but I don't know. I just was bummed out about that. I thought that was a dumb move by that tribe. And Amber was my vote out pick, and she went second. So darn it, if they would have just swapped who won which challenge, I'd have been in good shape. But I think I got my safe point. We'll see. I went with my heart choice for my USB with Ethan, and I was super impressed with him this first episode. I mean, he's just a great guy. I hope he does well. Amber, I just assumed she would go first if that tribe lost. I mean, what else were they going to do? At least they made a sensible choice. As far as the other tribe, I don't know. I mean, personally, I love Boston Rob, but why the heck you would leave him and Parvati in the game? I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I'm still watching Tyson. I think he's a dark horse. Sad to see the way that Kim looked, but we'll see if that lasts. I mean, that's what they showed us. We'll see what happens. But I'm just super excited. I have no idea where this is going to go. I mean, I like some of the one-time winners, but I don't like a lot of them, and I don't want to see Michelle or Adam or Sarah win this game. That's kind of where my heart is right now, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, super excited, and I just wanted to get some feedback in for the heck of it. Hope you have a great week, and I can't wait till next time. Good luck, everyone. I'm super excited to hear your comments. Happy Valentine's Day. Have a great one.
Excellent. Good job. Great to have you back, Mary. Next up, we got an email from Tito Burrito from Boston. Hello, all. A few things. Exciting season building here, but I was not a fan of them disposing of their champagne glasses onto that sandbar. Ode to destroying the planet to engage in war. Ben is actually doing what Sandra did to win both her seasons, stir the pot and back out of it, but it seems like they're framing it as him being dope as his dopey moves. Tyson and Sophie seem to be getting the early season soft winner edits. Jeff wants to be a pirate. I hope alliances are made on the edge to dictate and potentially sway where idols and advantages end up. Imagine Natalie's persuading Amber to give an advantage to Jeremy instead of Rob because more items in Rob's pocket paints a bigger target on him. As long as Survivor doesn't continue promoting the destruction of this planet, I'll be content with this season. Couldn't they actively show them recycling? I'll assume they cleaned it up. Yeah, they do.
They're well known for that.
Yeah, they got an awesome crew.
Not leaving a footprint.
Yeah. I could go on and on because this show is a platform. This is Survivor. Not only do the people have to survive, but the habitat and the planet as well. And with that, I will say cheers to a new season. Throws cup into recycling bin. All right. Good job, Tito. Next up, we got a call from Matt.
Hey Joanne and Stacy, my name is Matt from Utah, and this is my very first time calling into the show. I've been watching for a couple of seasons, and I have to thank you guys for all the hard work you put into making this podcast. It really makes watching the show so much more entertaining. I I love listening to these podcasts at work. They just give me life. So thank you guys. I really appreciate all the hard work you guys do on this. One thing I just wanted to mention, I guess, is I know that Stacy, during the last episode, you had talked about how you felt like Natalie should have asked Sandra for more fire tokens in exchange for the idol. And as I was thinking about that, I feel like if Natalie had asked for more than one fire token, I don't think that Sandra would have even tried to take her up on that deal. Because I'm just envisioning that Sandra would have had to go to another player, or at least one, to try to negotiate to get their token from them. And I just feel like everyone that does have, at least as we saw in the episode, tentative alliances with Sandra, like Sarah, I feel like would have immediately turned on Sandra and tried to make her the target if they knew that she was already trying to find this new way to get an idol. So I don't think Sandra would have taken it. I think it was smart what Natalie did. Honestly, I was really bummed that Natalie was the first person out, but hoping she can keep impacting the game and try to fight her way back in. Thank you again, you guys. Love the show. Love you guys. Love listening to all of the Survivor fans on this podcast, and hope you all have a great week. Bye.
Excellent. Thanks, Matt. It's great to have you here with us, and look forward to more. And see, we've got Drew coming up, and then after that, Anya, and then Anya will answer a very specific question about that fire token count and what was available. Next up, we got a call from Drew, though.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. Hey, everyone. This is Drew. I remembered it's Saturday morning, and I said, you know what? I'm going to call right now, because if I wait till breakfast and cartoons, then I'm going to forget. So anyway, I put my on the grill onto a Facebook group just for my own records, and I'm excited, actually, about this season. I think it's going to be pretty interesting and different. I mean, there's a lot of gimmicks going on, but I think that we'll be able to work through it, and it'll be okay. First episode was good. I'm actually kind of just disappointed because I had hopes for Natalie. I mean, I thought that she was gonna bring something, but anyway, yeah, I'm just kind of disappointed. But I think that the Edge of Extinction is very, very carefully and clearly and obviously chosen for this season for quite a few reasons, so it's not like she's gone. But some of the people seem really different than their first time around. I mean, I know for some of them it's been a lot of years, but I mean, Natalie seems really different. Rob seems even more like Rob Father. Some of them, like Sandra, I feel like is exactly the same, but it's been interesting to see how their personalities have developed as they've gotten older. So yeah, some good challenges, some interesting tribal councils. I will say the winner of the week is my man, USB Yule, because I think that he's playing smart. A couple of times I was just like, oh, cool it, Yule, don't play too hard, too fast. Let's just let's be cool. But I think he's just so smart, and he's going to do okay. And the loser of the week, sorry, Charlie came in. The loser of the week, I'm going to say, is everyone on Sandra's tribe who picked Amber instead of Sandra. What are they thinking? Why would you not get, like, people, Sandra, Rob, these Parvati, like these people out ASAP? You have Sandra on your tribe and you get Amber out. And I get it because of the Rob connection, but also she's just not a threat yet in that way as a team with Rob. Like, that's just, and it's Sandra, you know, like, anyway, I just thought that was crazy. I can't believe that this is not even an actual option. What's going on here? So great episode. Looking forward to hearing the feedback because, yeah, it's going to be a real fun season. So talk to you guys later and have a great weekend. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Drew. Good to have you back. Glad you made it. Next up, we got an email from Anya.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. I'm a relatively new listener, and this is my first feedback. Welcome, Anya. While I don't have much more to add than I know everyone else will cover, I did have a quick thing to add about Natalie selling her idol to Sandra for one fire token. Stacy, I think you were the one who said that Natalie could have negotiated, but the instructions that came with the idol specified that she could sell it for one fire token. So I'm not sure that she had any room to negotiate.
Yep, I noticed that on a
accurate.
rewatch. Yeah, thanks for catching that.
However, if someone does try to do so, I think it could add an interesting twist to the new Survivor currency. Sorry that I don't have anything more interesting to add, but I hope to leave actual feedback in the future. Thanks for all you guys do. And thank you, Anya.
Yeah,
we appreciate that.
Yeah, good attention to detail. Next up, we got a call from Slappy.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. This is Slappy McGee. Yes, I'm calling you back, and I am all in for this season. I figured since I've given them 39 seasons, I might as well give a 40th, especially when it's Winners at War. I am calling you from near Boston this week, so a shout out to Pete from Boston there. Woo! Woo! I wonder if he realizes he has his woo from Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Woo! Oh my goodness. Anyway, I really loved the first episode. This is kind of like a double episode, I guess. I tell you, seeing all these winners together really brings up great memories of the past and the past Survivor seasons. Lots of fun. I really enjoyed it. I like so far the new elements they've added into, the kind of refined some of them with these fire tokens and being able to play from the edge of extinction over there. I like that. It's a new dynamic in the game, and I think for Winners at War, they kind of deserve to have that. So I'm looking forward to that. And then watching them all interact with each other is great. I mean, it's really cool to see them trying to work out the mechanics of it all. And Boston Rob and Parvati just kind of looking around going, what? Is nobody playing with us? It's kind of fun. And I tell you what, the way Sandra plays and the way that she manipulates and she can get in people's heads and without even trying, it's just amazing. I mean, it just kind of shows you why she's the two-time winner and she is the queen. I don't think there's any chance of her winning it this time around. But you know what? If anyone deserves to win it, it's her. She is just a master at being able to manipulate and get into people's heads and just get her way around. It's just wonderful to watch her. It's such great TV. I really love that. And a lot of these players who were winners, you wonder, how do they ever win? They must have just had weak seasons because they are not playing very well, some of these people. But it'll be interesting to see as it goes out. I can't remember. I kind of chose my USB. I think I went with Wendell. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I pretty much did go with Wendell. We'll see. Kind of great to see everyone together, like I said. And you guys putting together this great community and stuff is always awesome. And I'm really looking forward to people's feedback. And hopefully this season 40 with all these All-Stars will get us back on the right track with Survivor. So I'm looking forward to that. And it'll be maybe the cleanser that we need. So welcome back, everybody, and thank you, Joanne and Stacey, for all you do. And go Wendell, I guess. Although, I tell you, I'm rooting for several people. Just watch them all. I'm just kind of rooting for several of them. Oh, and Stacey, you mentioned about Yule not seeming like... I think that's exactly how I remember Yule playing. He seemed very awkward to me, kind of silent and just kind of saying things directly and listening. I don't know. I think it's why he won, is because he was kind of an outsider, but at the same time, he wasn't a threat, but he was very physical. So he might win again. You never know. I would be surprised. But then again, anybody wins here, it's going to be a surprise because they're all winners and they all got to be losers except for one. Thanks so much, and I will talk to you guys later. Slappy out! Woo!
All right. Good to have you back, Slappy.
Unless Rob or Amber win, and then there'll really be two winners.
Okay. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker from Indiana. What a premiere. It was... I don't want to say everything I wanted it to be because I wanted Sandra and hopefully Sarah to be first two boots, or Sophie, honestly. So that didn't happen, but Survivor's back. It's back. We finally have Survivor back after a couple seasons of just, especially last season. Good episode for Boston Rob. I mean, everybody who was like, oh, Amber was the one who was really good. Boston Rob is just overrated. Boston Rob somehow makes it out of the first tribal, and Amber gets sent back into Edge of Extinction. I am even one of the people who are like, oh my gosh, Rob with the giant head. Oh, Rob, come on. I don't need Rob here. Once Rob started playing, I'm like, oh my gosh. I forgot how fun it is to watch Boston Rob play because he's so good. He actually is that good. And I've even been one of the people who are like, oh, he's just overrated. He's not that good. He's that good. I love this Rob, Parvati, Ethan alliance. I love that so much. The other tribe, okay, so Kim is my winner pick. That was scary. It ends up being Amber, which, that's rough. I liked Amber, she goes home, but I don't know. And I like Natalie, and I was really excited to see both of them, but if it's those two over Tony, over Rob, over Jeremy, over Yule, over Tyson, over Kim, Denise, I'm okay with it. This season is full of good players, and I'm here for all of them except 3, and I'm honestly fine with Michelle at this point. Michelle's cool. I own up to it. I love Aubrey still, and I really think she should have run co-wrong, but you know what? Michelle won! You're watching and you're, why is at this first tribal and like, why is everybody just so bleh here? It's because there's not an easy first boot. A lot of times in Survivor, there's that, oh, well, obviously that's first boot. There's someone who was a little too aggressive, a little too annoying, not good in the challenge, There's not that this time because everybody here is a contender, and I may not like all their wins. If I were on the jury for some of these people, I would have voted for a different person, but they still won the game. So they are that good. It's hard to say, oh, that's an easy first vote, because it's not. But I do like this single season, not very well connected team of people that Yule's kind of leading the charge. I'm so down for that alliance. Oh yeah, Sandra's first idol, and it's given to her, just like the Parvati one. And I'm like, oh, best player ever, right? Sits out, challenge, it gets idols given to them that finds them. Oh yeah, so there's gonna be great people voted off every week. It's just a matter of who I'm okay with seeing go home from these people and who I'm not. I'm relatively okay with seeing Amber go home. I didn't want Natalie to go home, but we're still left with a stellar cast. That's the thing about Winners at War. Like, even if Edge of Extinction didn't exist, we're still left with such a great cast. Yeah, and then Tony climbs a really tall ladder and apparently dies. So that's fun. I think that's all I got. I will see you guys next time.
All right. Good to have you back. Thanks, Parker. Next up, we got an email from Josh the Plush Moose from Massachusetts, if I could say it. Dear Joanne and Stacy, the premiere got Winners at War off to a promising start. Good group of winners, good mix of game types and skill sets, and the heightened sense of paranoia was palpable. And while a returnee season isn't everyone's cup of tea, it was nice to know more than 3 players' names and faces by the end of the first episode. I'm sure everyone can agree with that. The fire token currency twist is intriguing and may make Edge of Extinction more relevant for the main game. I see scenarios where blindsides and pagongings concentrate fire tokens and the advantages idols they buy into the hands of the intended targets, or prevent a fractured tribe from purchasing a needed advantage for a pre-merge immunity challenge. And I'm hopeful that the Edge of Extinction menu means the best friends re-entry half-idols won't be around this season. My other observations. I bet this season's moms on vacation MOVs will make us rethink the value of that character type. The champagne toast was a nice touch. 40 seasons is a reason for any show to celebrate. I was glad to see Denise's consecutive tribal council streak finally end. Amen. The current gave Red an advantage in the rugby challenge. It did indeed. It reminded me of the Rock'em Sock'em robots I had as a child, where one robot had a lame arm. Okay. Calm Tony is like a sealed can of water over a flame. Pressure builds, then explodes. I like Nerd Shield. Meat Shield should be reserved for physical threats. Yep. Rob and Parvati play at a different level. Will Culpepper math actually work with 2 beating 8? Ben is a blabbermouth. On this season, though, it may actually lower his threat level. Rob's pretzel logic when confronting Danny made my head hurt. Adam and Denise got lost, but found a way to target themselves. Yeah, he did. I laughed watching Rob turn into a rocket launcher in the challenge. Targeting connected pairs may backfire due to the fire token black market. Rob on the roller reminded me of Charlie Chaplin on the gears in modern times. Jeremy was literally a ringer in the immunity challenge. Ba-dum-bum. Sandra's idol allows her to plant Sandra seeds and may save her from Rob in a swap. It's interesting to see dominant winners deal with the culture shock of being on the outs. The Poker Alliance may be a losing hand for its perceived members. Bigger threat, Rob and Amber's 2 votes, or Amber sending EOE care packages to Rob. Next time, Rob wants revenge while Tony climbs his way towards a Darwin Award. Anyway, that's it from me for now. Thanks, Joanna and Stacy, for all you do. I can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Thank you, Josh. Good job. Good material, buddy. Next up, we got a call from Rashmi.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all my Survivor friends. It's so great to be back after a really very, very busy summer for me with all the wedding and all. And that's all behind me now. And I'm slowly getting back into my normal viewing habits with Survivor back. It was a really good, fun 2-hour show. I have a few observations. Watching Ben completely melt down trying to play strategy with Rob was very satisfying. It also reaffirmed that he had no business winning his season given a lack of strategic prowess. Everyone knows Boston Rob and how he plays the game, but still how Boston Rob manipulated Ben makes a point as to why he should be considered the greatest contestant on Survivor. It was really good fun watching Rob play. Rob and Parvati, they made a really interesting team, and the realization that no one was actually gunning for them is so lovely to watch. Rob and Parvati's tribal performance raised alarm bells for Jeremy. Jeremy's late realization that they were up to something was really interesting. I'm just not convinced that Survivor is better with the edge of extinction in it. I just think that the fire tokens and the pre-existing relationships that come with All-Star season make the Age of Extinction a little bit more tolerable, and I get to see Natalie a little bit more. Sandra's badgering of Tony's performance was an highlight for me. It was interesting to see just how good Sandra is at this game, despite the target on her back, and then to see this two-time winner gifted the community, and yet she talked herself into a position where she's not even close to being voted out. It is a reminder of how much fun it is to see her worm her way through players who should know better by now. Sandra is much better at avoiding showing her hand, which might keep her in the game a little bit longer, and I just love watching her. Natalie was the only one who kind of found an idol, but then she had to send it to Sandra in exchange for a fire token. Yes, I don't like fire tokens yet. At the end, I must say, it was really funny to see Kim playing with real players and feeling the pinch when she was not in control. I noticed that in certain angles she looks a bit cross-eyed. That was just me. Now, who will go next? I'm waiting to hear what is going to say. You know, at the last one, I just couldn't decide. And then, thank you, Nina, for the recommendation. When Nina recommended Natalie, against my feelings for Natalie, still I put her name down and I got an extra point. So that's that. And I'm looking forward to the next episode. Happy to hear everybody's voices back on Survivor, and thank you, Joanne and Stacy. Thank you so much. Cheers.
All right. Thank you, Rashmi. Great to have you back on the podcast. Next up, we got a call from Chris.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. Hey, Survivor fans. I'm really enjoying Survivor 40, Winners at War. You know how production has a tendency to leave out crucial elements of the season? Either that or I haven't been paying attention, because I can't recall at least several of these winners. That's all right. I don't think they'd recognize me either. It is fun seeing them all out there interacting. You know, like when you see a bunch of companies' mascots gathered together for a softball game. It's always funny when they knock each other over. Speaking of challenges, the camera mounted on the lifesaver, that was a really nice touch. Got us right into the middle of the action. And it took us right out of the moment when they added those underwater sounds. Tyson's daisy chain calendar was darling. And I really do believe that was a confessional on day one. He looked island fresh. Ethan, he looks a little like that American Pickers guy to me. And if Rob ever stops doing Survivor, he could go on Netflix and they could remake Burt Reynolds movies. At Tribal, Jeff understands friendship. And there's some understanding of poetry, too, with The Candor from Amber. And friends are lost along the way. That's the price we're willing to pay. A good start to the season, folks. Have a great week.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Next up, we got an email from Immie in Albuquerque.
I was really disappointed that Rob's tribe didn't do better, mostly because I picked someone from the other tribe to go. I think the fire tokens will affect the game a lot. They seem very useful based on listening to them name the objects on the menu, as I like to call it. It does look like fire tokens in the eyes of the immunity idol. I didn't get a good look at it, so I couldn't tell for sure. One thing in my eyes that changed about the survivors is they aren't going as fast as I'm used to seeing. I think the big threats are still in jeopardy, and maybe some of the non-threats who are trying to make a big move. Sophie, she is playing more cutthroat than in her first season, in my opinion. All right. Thanks, Emmy, for your observations. We appreciate it greatly. Up next, we have a call from Rebecca.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Rebecca calling from Northern California. Sorry if I'm a little breathless. I'm on my morning walk. I am so thrilled that the show is back, that your podcast is back, that JSFL is back. It's also exciting. And I loved the first episode. It is so cool to get to see all these season's players battling it out. And what's really interesting is you really get to see like who is a master of the game and who kind of just squeaked along and won their season. It was stunning to see like the newer winners get played by the older winners. And I somehow missed a couple of seasons. So I got introduced to a whole bunch of players that I didn't really know, like Yule, who I loved, and everyone knows Sandra, but I never saw her season. So watching her work her magic, that was pretty cool. And of course, Boston Rob. He's amazing. I wasn't sad that Amber got voted out because I felt like she didn't really try, and I thought her goose was cooked when she said she's on vacation. I'm like, uh-oh, dun-dun-dun. She's not going to last long. Can't wait to see what this season brings. Can't wait to see how we all do in JSFL. Thank you, Joanne and Stacy. I missed your podcast so much, and I'm so happy it's back. And I love the online community. And go Survivor. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Rebecca. We love that you're back, too. Thanks for making time to get that feedback in on your walk. What a multitasker. Next up, we got a call from KimJ.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is KimJ from Nashville. I enjoyed the premiere. I was a little disappointed that we had 2 vote outs and we couldn't get a full 2 hours, but when you have the immunity challenge right off the bat, it's kind of unavoidable. I gave grades to everybody in this episode, so let's start out with the A's. I gave an A to Rob, Parvati, Sandra, and Tony because good on them for sticking together, and I certainly would not have anticipated making it out of the first 2 vote outs without one of those big targets going home. So I was very excited that they're still there, and I thought that they played really well and mitigated their targets very well. And also gave an A for Sophie, Wendell, Nick, Sarah, and Ethan because they really didn't seem to be a target. They were on the right side of the vote and seemed to be in really good spots, at least right now. Give a B to Tyson because he was able to pivot once he realized that the target was squarely on him. And unlike Kim and Amber, I think it really benefited him having played the game before and lost, whereas Kim was such a fish out of water in that position. So good for him to be able to throw the others under the bus. Gave a C to Danny because rookie mistake, throwing out a name like that really early, but I thought that she managed it very well. And the fact that she was honest and was able to get in an alliance and not end up on the other side of the vote, kind of like Sierra did in Game Changers. And then gave D's to Adam and Denise because, come on, guys, you know better than to look like a pair that early on in the game. Also, Ben for being a rat. Really, like, it's a little early to bring out the double agent stuff. Like, save that for later. And then Jeremy and Michelle for being on the wrong side of the vote. And I gave out an F to, of course, Amber and Natalie because they were voted out. And then to Kim because she, unlike Tyson, just did not know what to do in that spot. She was crying, and we'll see if she can rebound. I don't know. I gave out an incomplete to Yule because I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here because, 1, he's my USB, and 2, he did say in his Dawson Ross interview before the game that he was going to try to play up the fact that he hasn't played in a while and look kind of dumb. And so I think part of that, I haven't played in 13 years, like what's next, I think is he's doing that on purpose, I hope, because he was definitely one of the drivers of this first vote, breaking out the whole poker alliance and all. So I've got high hopes for Yule. I've got him an incomplete because he could either be an A or like a D. So we'll see. I'm really surprised we're not getting a tribe swap next week. I just knew they were going to do a tribe swap at 18. So, which means, oh my gosh, who's going to go home next week? What tribe is going to lose? Right now, I'm leaning towards Boston Rob, but I'm really not sure. So we'll see. Oh, and by the way, Tony, pay attention.
All right. Thanks, Kim J. Maybe not getting the swap because they're going to come back on day 4. And what you were naturally expecting would have been a day 6 kind of thing. So from a timing perspective, it could be after this next one.
Yeah, because this was a 3-day.
Compressed into 3s. Yeah. Yep. Could be. All right. Thanks again, Kim J. Next up, we got an email from Hayden in Kansas. Hello, Joanne, Stacy, and all the other Survivor fans listening in. Wow. That episode is one of, if not the best pilot episode I've seen for a season of Survivor. I have so many thoughts about the episode, so I'm going to try to be concise and not talk for too long. First, the cast of winners is amazing, and all of them are so varied and different that you can always tell who's who. It also makes watching them get voted out feel rather different than other seasons. Instead of either being happy, satisfied, or sad, I'm left in a mixture of all three of these feelings and don't know how to react, for better and for worse. Second, the new twists look really promising. Edge of Extinction looks improved, and I think that largely has to do with the new currency for the game. Fire tokens seem to add a whole new layer to the game, and with the bequeathing them to other players, I think that it will immensely impact the game as the season goes forward. Thirdly, it's really shocking how much of this game is decided by events outside the game. I thought people would just have bonds with those who they played with in previous seasons. In all actuality, however, it seems to be that if you somehow have a slight connection to someone, you are deemed dangerous. Finally, there are a few things in the episode I don't completely understand and am wondering if you could clarify. Did they vote Natalie out just because of her relationship with Jeremy or because of how she did in the challenge? Pretty sure the way it was presented, it was around the relationship with Jeremy, breaking up a power couple. And I think that's meant to be our takeaway too, because they did take the time to show us Natalie saying that her bond with Jeremy was almost like blood, almost like he was family.
Right.
Yeah. Could you keep the advantage and not offer it up as soon as you find it on the edge? Nope. You have until sundown to make a deal. So you got to make that offer, and then if the other person doesn't take it, it dissolves and goes away. Why did Natalie give Sandra the idol? Well, she took the deal in exchange for the fire token.
And
or you maybe he's asking why Sandra.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think that's self-explanatory. It's Sandra. She was assuming Sandra would be targeted first. Or
so what do you accomplish by doing that?
Alliance.
All right.
Pre-game alliance.
Could be explained by that.
Yeah, we don't know.
Or it could be just making sure that it kept someone that could impact Rob in play and Amber.
Or that she knows Sandra well enough to know she would not pass up the opportunity for an idol.
Right, and she's also keeping it out of the hands of Amber or keeping it out of the hands of someone else.
Sure.
And, yeah, so to cause disruption and commotion in that tribe.
And she had to offer it to someone who lost, so she couldn't offer it to Jeremy.
All right, hopefully that clears up some of that confusion. Thanks again for a great podcast, and I can't wait to hear what everyone else has to say about this incredible episode. Thank you, Hayden. Good job. We appreciated the questions. Next up, we got a call from Noelle.
Hi, everyone. It's Noelle from Albuquerque. It's too bad that Amber got voted out so soon. I think it was a mistake to send her to Extinction Island because I think she's going to end up being a huge asset for Rob out there. But I think it was smart for Natalie to offer to sell her idol to Sandra because it was a good assumption that Sandra would be a big target and that Sandra would be most likely to take the deal. I just hope that the fact that Natalie got out there first isn't going to give her a huge advantage over everybody else that ends up out there, because I would like to feel like their odds of getting back into the game are all going to be pretty even, hopefully. I don't think Amber was playing very well. Based on what we saw, it seemed like she wasn't making a big effort to talk to everybody on her tribe. She was a lot more assertive than I expected her to be. I guess that comes with having 4 kids. It'll be interesting to see how Rob reacts to it and who ends up going next. I thought it was really funny that Ben was fangirling out over Rob because I predicted that Adam would be the one to fangirl out over Rob. So I'll be interested to see if Rob can keep Ben on his side. The fire tokens were really interesting. I definitely thought that the eyeballs of the idol were fire tokens. I noticed those right away. And if I had been out there playing, I would have plucked those tokens right out of the idol and put them in my little bag. In the next episode, I think Kim's probably still in trouble. Yul is playing very aggressively, and I think that he's going to be seen as a threat sooner than he wants, but it's hard not to root for him since he wants to donate all the money to charity. I was impressed at how shrewd it was for Adam to get the votes off of him and on to Natalie instead. Natalie, I think, was a good choice to vote out because it did seem like she had a really tight bond with Jeremy, so I thought that was a smart vote out. I think that the feud between Rob and Sandra, to me, it looks really manufactured. I noticed that Sandra never at any point says that she told Rob she was coming back. Like, that didn't come up. So it does kind of seem like they're building a story arc where it's Rob versus Sandra. They're on opposite tribes. And in the previews, it looks like Rob is going to blame Sandra for Amber getting voted out, even though it didn't really seem like that decision was mostly coming from Sandra. So if that's the case, it will make the series more fun. So that'll be fun to watch. And finally, it seemed like Michelle was pretty freaked out and isolated on her tribe. I hope that creates an opportunity for my girl Parvati to pull her into her alliance. Parvati, I think, performs best when she's on the outs, and she's really good at picking up other players who feel like they're on the outs. So that would be a great prediction to see come true. Everybody have a great week. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Noelle. Now, there was a panel that was done, hosted by Dalton Ross, hosted by Entertainment Weekly on Monday before the Wednesday premiere, and they actually watched the whole episode there. There was like a sweepstakes where you could win, I think 10 people had a chance to win something in that, and there's a video they released. It doesn't show them watching the premiere or anything. It was a panel that Dalton conducted after they had watched, and then he did a Q&A. Started off with some questions for Probst, and then went through and asked several of the ones that were up there. I can't remember everybody's there, but in any case...
Rob and Amber and Sandra and Wendell and Sophie.
Doesn't matter. They can go look at it.
Parvati.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna link it right to the part where Dalton asked Sandra about this very thing, about being upset with Rob. And then there's an exchange. You get to hear what Sandra says, and she clearly states that she told Rob she was going to be back on there. This is in response to what Noelle was saying when she was putting her theory out there. And other people mentioned this too, that that might have all been fake. But when you see, what I saw was sincerity in that panel about her still being angry. And this is after the season.
She was still hurt and upset about it.
Yeah.
Still didn't get the answers.
So go check that out. I'm going to link it so that it goes right to that question, but the whole thing's worth watching because you can get some, there's some earlier questions. So you might want to back it up after you watch that. I'm just going to link it just to that point where you get to see Sandra respond to Dalton's question about it, and then Rob responds and Sandra. And so they do a little back and forth there on that. So I think it actually is sincere anger from Sandra's perspective, but I like that theory that it's a setup, something they concocted while they were out there on Island of the Idols. That seems plausible too until I saw this clip.
And she said, I was hurt. She said, and I don't usually take things personally. That's not like me. But she said, I did.
Yep. All right. Thanks again, Noelle. Next up, we got a call from Jody.
Hi, Survivor family. Okay, Stacey, I'm calling from the insulated bubble of my car. I do not have a pan of bacon in front of me sizzling away, which coincidentally is the way that I believe the best bacon is made. I mean, it all depends on your pan for sure. But anyway, wow, Ben is going to be welcome at many a poker table because his game face is bad. So that was interesting. And I think that Mr. Rob Mariano has put in some serious quality time at the pool with his 4 girls. I can remember as a kid just, with your dad at the pool and jumping up into his lap and that explosion out of the water. He has some serious dad skills. It was impressive. Whew. I'm interested to see what impact the fire tokens are going to have on the gameplay and the tribe as a whole. I mean, if everyone knows that the token becomes bequeathed to somebody else, then it would be general knowledge with Amber gone that Rob now has 2, at least. So does that paint a target on his back more than he already has? Who knows? The gameplay is next level. The paranoia is intense. It's just so much. I'm glad my USB survived the first and second round of evacuation, extinction. Oh my God, words, right? So it just occurs to me that with the purest, original sort of Survivor seasons where you were voted out and you were gone, it was kind of like your tribe was cannibalizing itself. We're all going to decide who the meaty morsel is and go on from there. But to this point, it's evolved to, I don't know, it's nothing like a shipwrecking and that sort of situation. It's just a game, and yeah, it's sort of bleak, isn't it, that cannibalizing thing. All right, I don't know where this has come from. Good luck with your picks, everybody. Welcome back, everybody, and here we go. Oh my god. I was just sending an email to Joanne and Stacey. Hi, Joanne and Stacey. With my latest ramblings. And so right at that second, I got a little ting on my messenger. And so a few weeks ago, Dr. Mike was on Rob's podcast and he was like crapping on about how he didn't think that cameo should be a thing. He's just slide into my DMs. So I did. Anyway, I'm now in contact with Mike, Dr. Mike. Oh, that is so funny. What is life?
Fangirling.
I thought that's what that was when she first sent it. I thought she was making fun of Ben, but that was her genuine version.
No, I think she was genuinely fangirl.
That's funny. All right, coming from everywhere, because I was making fun of her, saying that it sounded like she was cooking. It turns out she was cooking when she sent in her on the grill feedback.
Yeah, you could tell that.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Jody. You and all your wackiness. Next up, we got an email from Randy in Washington.
Hi, Joanne and Stacey. What a great start to what will surely be an epic season. I failed to hit the send button on my On the Grill email and side challenge entry. Yikes, I will have to suffer on the sidelines and cheer for Jeremy to crush Stacey. Oh, yeah, I said Jeremy, didn't I?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, sorry, Jeremiah. But at least he's going to watch him crush you. I was surprised to have a second immunity challenge on the premiere and surely would not have had Amber safe, you and me both, for 2 tribals, and now I joined Joanne in losing a safe point. So much for the bold play. I worried for my USB Tyson as he was a clear target. I'm hoping Red wins and Tyson, Parvati, and Adam remain safe and that Blue sends Kim or Sandra to the edge.
That's backwards. Anyway,
Okay.
just flip it.
Yeah.
Flip the colors.
I'll be keeping Tony safe, but really looking forward to hear from the rest of this amazing crew on their observations and predictions. Thanks for all you do and best wishes. I'll be traveling to Death Valley National Park for a couple of weeks, so may miss a feedback or two. Cheers.
All
right. Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, have a great trip. Next up, we got a call from Jeremiah.
Hello, Joanne and Stacey. Hello, Survivor fans. This is Jeremiah here from Southern California, and man, what a great start to the season. Fantastic 2 fun hours of television. My wife and I were very blessed to be able to go to the Rob Has a Podcast 10-year anniversary party / viewing party where there was a ton of reality stars. I would say almost 100 reality stars showed up for this thing, including the Queen herself and Parvati. Man, we were so shocked. And of course, we sat with SFP alumni Christy Shipley and Mike K. And man, that was so much fun. So much to talk about from this episode. Really liked the fact that we had some of our old school players of big nights like Rob, Parvati, the Queen, Ethan, even Yule. I was extremely impressed, by the way, with Yule's gameplay. Feel much more better about his chances now. Stacey, I know you were a little upset about Yule's body language when confronting Kim, but I really felt like that sequence was more just about showing how players were being awkward around Kim since she was on the outs. Many funny moments, I thought, in this episode. Ethan, of course, being overwhelmed with the fast gameplay. You had Ben, of course, getting tongue-tied being around Boston Rob. Thought it was interesting seeing how those outside and previous relationships became a big part of these first 2 episodes. The one surprised me was the Poker Alliance. Who saw that coming? Apparently Yule did. No surprise, of course, to see Jeremy and Natalie teaming back up again. And I love this old school alliance between Rob, Parvin, and Ethan. That should be very interesting. And on the Red Tribe, I'm extremely excited about this alliance between Yul, Sophie, Wendell, and Nick, and of course some other people. But those are the 4 I think to watch. In fact, I'm going to call right now, guys, Final 4, with the final 3 being Wendell, Sophie, and Nick being the one person who gets no votes, and Wendell barely beats out Sophie. How about that? Well, I'll tell you what, I definitely liked the way my USB Wendell looked in this episode. And yes, that's who I went with. I figured he got me the Win and Sign challenge before, he can do it again. As for the Denise and Adam alliance, I really like this alliance. I know they had a little blunder there, but they did a really nice job, of course, digging themselves out of it, and I think they might be okay. Now, for JSFL, I really have to thank Nina and all the people on Facebook for convincing me that I should go with Natalie. Although my heart was broken, and so was everyone else's when she got voted out. Personally, I think they should have got after Jeremy. He's going to be so dangerous now that he's got 2 tokens as well. Although, since Natalie did go out, that does help my prediction of her being the one to come back from EOE, huh? As for the Red Tribe's decision, I think getting Amber out was probably a good idea overall, although I would have probably leaned towards Kim. She is extremely dangerous to leave around. Kudos to Tyson, by the way, for getting that target off his back and staying in the game for a little longer. Well, that's it for me. Listen, we love so many of these players. I feel like a lot of us are going to have our hearts broken every week as someone goes home. But it's just going to be so much fun to watch. My predictions for next week, I think that Blue Tribe's going to lose again. And I think one L. Michelle will be the one to go home. All right, that's it for me. I just remind everybody on that Facebook group, please do not do any spoilers till at least 24 hours later to keep other people from getting spoiled. Thank you so much. All right, you guys take care. Till next time, this is Jeremiah out.
Awesome. Good job, Jeremiah. Next up, got an email from Jack in California. This was an awesome premiere episode. Right off the bat, there was a lot of information tossed out there, from the new prize money, fire tokens, to the edge of extinction return. Also, if Rob and Amber didn't already have a big target in the game, Jeff didn't help that by pointing out that they were there together. That very first challenge, there was a lot at stake for the winner. Sandra started out quite well, but I do think if her attitude comes into play, she could be in trouble. I'm disappointed that my USB Adam didn't start out really well because of how he and Denise separated from the rest of the tribe, looking for the watering hole. I hope they both recover from this mistake and could still do well. That second challenge was also great, and that was quite a come-from-behind win. The fire token will be interesting to see more. It'll be interesting to see more of how it'll play out in the future. I didn't think Natalie was going to be the first out. I had Rob as the vote out, so I got the wrong Mariano out. But that doesn't matter anyway, since she was the second out, not the first. That's right. Thank you, Jack. Good to hear from you, bud. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California. Well, that was a fantastic beginning to this new and epic season. CBS, can we please have 2 hours worth of action every single week? I don't think that's too much to ask for a season like this, especially since it's all returners. There's going to be so much going on. Plus, we have the Island of Extinction, which in the past has taken up valuable time. I just really wish that we could have 2 hours worth every week. But I know that's not to be, but hey, I can wish, right? Right out of the gate, I am impressed by Sandra of all people. She really just played such an understated first part of the game. I loved how she so subtly just suggested to Tony that somebody was after him, and that lassoed Tony onto her side. I mean, that's how you do it. You're doing it and they don't even know that you are manipulating them. That's a master at work right there. And we contrast that to Rob. Rob just right out went, "See, you're lying to me. That's a lie, and I don't know if I can trust you now. And I'm glad you told me the truth, because that tells me I can trust you." I mean, it's really kind of like, oh, he's so overbearing compared to Sandra, who just kind of lets you think that you're doing the thinking instead of her. I was so worried for Adam and for Denise. Denise was my USB, and she's a lot of people's USB. And I'm telling you, that mistake was just, why'd they walk away? But I'm also super impressed with she and Adam. They didn't panic. They didn't make any more rookie mistakes, if you will, in trying to cast the vote off of them and onto somebody else. I think I'll give Adam credit for the active part of that, but I'll give Denise definitely credit for the passive part. She is so cool under pressure, and I think that has a lot to do with her experience going to every single tribal council. She is no stranger from having her name on the chopping block, and I think it showed the other night when she didn't panic. And Adam, maybe he didn't show it to the other survivors out there, but he definitely showed it to us why he's out there and why he is such a dangerous threat. He took the focus on him, and he so skillfully cast the light in another direction, and Natalie was the victim. It was just amazing to see. I was just so impressed by the two of them. I felt bad for Amber getting voted out, but what else was there for us to expect? I think that was a very expected thing, and I just have compassion for the people who are voted out first in the game, even Natalie. I think that Yule, Wendell, and Nick are starting out of the gate really well. I think that the new school players on the Blue Tribe really have an opportunity here to band together and create a majority for themselves against Rob and Ethan and who's the other old school person out there? Parvati. On the Red Tribe, I think that Giant Alliance has a really good thing going, or I guess Giant Voting Block, if you will. They're not all going to stick together, but the only thing that'll screw that up is a swap. That's it for me. Can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say and everyone's first impressions. Till next week. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Jen. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul, Louisiana here, and that was exactly what I was hoping for, save for the part where my USB gets voted off in the first episode. There were just too many Denise fans out there for me, so I went with my second favorite, Natalie. She seems upset that she was voted off, though, and in her first appearance, it was her desire for, revenge that brought her to life? So perhaps this is a good thing. Who knows, but I still wish she was in the actual game itself. Anyway, I loved it. I just didn't expect Ben to be so out of it and starstruck. I'm not sure he can recover from this because Boston Rob, as much as I don't care for him, knows how to exploit people's weaknesses, and this is a big weakness. Yule, well, he really impressed me. In fact, more so than anyone else. I'm not exactly sure why, but I think it has to do with his confidence and coolness, which is something he always had. But to see him act so calmly while Ben floundered so badly, well, kudos to Yule. One thing I really need clarification on is, did Sandra actually tell Rob that she was returning? As far as I know, she hasn't said that she did. Was she just quiet about it while Rob came right out and said that he wouldn't play again? Or did she literally say that she would be back and have Rob tell her that he wouldn't be returning? This distinction, for whatever reason, means a lot to me. Still, I was glad to see Amber end up on the extinction list. This is going to stoke a fire in Rob for sure. Hopefully, Sele will see that this power couple can indeed be broken up, and they'll follow suit and reunite our married couple. I'm thinking that's what happens next, that the call is leading by example. Now, I loved watching how people are forming their alliances. I loved how the challenges could start out one way, yet end another. Once again, Survivor literally had me on the edge of my seat. Also, the fire tokens are going to be more interesting than I thought. I wonder how many will have been in play when the season ends. And by that I mean, how many will be made available? Will we essentially keep the same number that we have now and watch them get swapped around? Or will they introduce a new token or two each week? This is something that makes me go, So yes, I loved it. I'm expecting Rob to go next, leaving Parvati scrambling to find new placement in her tribe. And I'm anxiously waiting for Tony to break free of his own restraints, because I love watching him self-destruct, and I'm pretty sure that's inevitable. So I guess that's it from me. Take care, everyone, and I will catch you all next week. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Paul. Definitely check out that panel video where Sandra's going to answer that question for you, likewise with Rob. And as I recall from the early article, the preseason article about fire tokens, they're going to have an opportunity to win more at challenges. So that means that the currency count will increase through the course of the season.
Yeah, and Sandra had said in something that I had read that they talked about it the whole 36 days, and he knew she was going to play again, and he told her the whole time that he would not play again.
Yet again, that panel discussion, you get to hear even Probst weigh in after Boston Rob had told him that he wasn't going to tell Sandra, and they had a quick discussion about what the implications of that were. So you're going to want to check that out, as well as the long form article about all this other stuff that happened behind the scenes that we didn't get to see in the first episode. Really good content to help you along with this podcast, this episode, the listener feedback episode, and then the article and that panel video. You're going to really eat it up. I think you'll enjoy it as much as I did.
And you're going to put the links in the show notes.
They'll be in the show notes for this episode, yeah. So you just go into this episode at getsfp.com.
Read more,
and then you'll see the full content of the show notes, and there's a link section, and you'll see at least 3 links there dedicated to this: the panel video, the long form ET article, what you didn't get to see. Now it starts off a little slow because Dalton's going on about how much he hates what all's wrong with Edge of Extinction, which I 100% agree on. We're of the same mind there. So he wrestles his way through that again. It's there, and then once he gets past that, he starts getting into here's some other things that you didn't get to see. And I believe there's in that article, there's a link to like the Instagram video, so you can see how much the crew in this couple of videos that he posted, Dalton posted on his Instagram site, that how much the crew was struggling with the current on the red side. And they were really fighting it just to get the flag set, the pole there for them to touch for that. And he talks about how it was a big element in that challenge, that it really favored the DeKalb, the Red Tribe, and there's so much good stuff in there.
Well, we even noticed that with the waves during the challenge.
Yeah, Probst kind of indirectly commented on it, and we wondered if that was the case, and this sure enough confirms it. He talks about other things. Even though the tribal councils were relatively short, you had picked up on the fact that Natalie puts her hair up when she goes to get her torch, and then her hair's down.
And then when he goes
when
to
it's
snuff
snuffed.
it.
Well,
yeah.
There's something that happened in between, and Dalton talks about that, and some other things that happened during the tribal council, and so.
I don't think we talked about it on the recap, but I did notice that. Maybe it was when we watched it the second time.
Okay.
I was like, hey, wait a minute, she's putting her hair up.
Yeah.
Now it's down.
What's up with that? And so the answers are there. Like I said, a lot of really good stuff. Fun. All right. Well, you guys really delivered. Fantastic job, everyone. 34 kicking off our first listener feedback of the season. Just like the viewership numbers, the listener feedback counts way up for this. I think they had something like 6.68 million. It was more than the premiere last season, even though it was a 2-hour episode versus a 90. There were still more viewers of this one, which is no surprise to anyone.
No.
Yeah, and so looking forward to Wednesday and what that'll bring. See what new elements get integrated into the game and how this group of winners is going to handle what gets thrown at them. We want to say thank you to everybody for taking the time to send in those thoughts and predictions. We know what it's like to pull something like that together, so we really appreciate it with your busy schedules and everything going on that you were able to squeeze that in. Good job. We'd also like to thank Michael Odock for your review on iTunes, help getting the word out and spread the positive word there on iTunes. Other people know about the podcast. How about a JSFL update?
We had announced that your vote off pick was for the first vote off only, if there was more than one. But we truly did not believe there would be, so we had no clue. But because of that, you only got the 2-point vote off for first off if you had Natalie voted off. If you had Amber, even though she was voted off second, you got 0 points for her. And but the sad part of that is, if you were like me and you were playing very bold and had Amber safe, then we lost a safe point, because the rules say that they are only considered safe if they are still in the game at the end of that night's episode. So, and some people had questioned how can anybody get 2 points? The reason being, if you did not have Natalie as safe and you did have Amber and Natalie, if you didn't have Natalie as vote off and you had Amber and Natalie as safe, then you would only get 2 points for the other 2 people that you had safe. That's as clear as mud. I'm not doing this well.
It is.
I should have read what I wrote instead of just winging it, but okay.
You're doing great, hon.
Oh,
Keep
shut
going.
up. Hey, you're over there trying not to laugh at me, so okay.
Yeah, I failed that.
Yeah, you did. Okay, hopefully we will not be surprised with the second vote off again this season. And
Let's
even
just do the stats.
It wouldn't interact with the first off.
Let's leave that alone.
Okay, well, I did lose a point. You didn't. So shut up. Okay, there are 23 people tied for first in JSFL with 6 points. 25 people lost their USB for Natalie.
At least
and
for now.
10 for Amber.
At least for now.
98 people lost a safe point for Amber and 85 for Natalie.
Yep.
Congratulations to the 32 people who gained 2 points for choosing Natalie as first off. There are 15 people this season in the side challenge.
Not you, Randy, you slacker.
Oh, you're mean. Tied for the lead with 6 points is Jake, Kindred, and Jeremiah. Randy, Jeremiah's ahead of Stacy. 4 points, Cameron, Carl, Chris, Cold Mike, Drew, Jack, Justin, Jonathan, Parker, Rebecca, Slappy, and Stacy. With 3 points, Brandon.
Oh, auspicious start, Brandon.
All right, that's it.
So if you play, get past. If you play in the hopefully it won't be this confusing going forward. If you play in JSFL, don't forget to make your picks for the next week before the deadline, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Wednesday. Anything else you need to say?
I don't think so.
Have a good one.